So our guest is Toby Young. He's the founder of the Free Speech Union, or he founded the Free Speech Union in Britain in 2020, but far more than that. Toby Young is a journalist and author, and what I really love about Toby Young, he's a contrarian, and he's visiting New Zealand as a guest of our Free Speech Union, which, of course, sponsors Free Speech Fridays here on the platform. And I just think he'd be a great guy to have a yarn to, so he joins us by video link now. Toby, firstly, let's just talk about the Free Speech Union in Britain. How is that going? Is it if you like, a growing enterprise? Because certainly the Free Speech Union here is going gangbusters.
Yeah, no, it's going really well. I'm slightly concerned that the New Zealand Free Speech Union is going so well that it will eventually eclipse the British Free Speech Union. At the moment, I think of myself as King Charles, and Jonathan Ayling, the director of the New Zealand Free Speech Union, as my Director General here, a Governor General here in New Zealand. But actually, I think those will shortly be reversed.
All right.
But no, it's going great gun.
Yeah.
In the UK, we started in 2020, so we're 4.5 years old now. We have 14,000 members, 23 members of staff, an annual budget of about 1.6 million. And in our lifetime, we've taken on over 2,500 cases. And where they've come to a conclusion, we've been successful 74% of the time. So, yeah, it's going really well.
The Free Speech Unions and free speech as a concept that needs protecting seems to me a totally natural response to the growth of what I call cancel culture in Western democracies. Is that fair?
Yes. The inspiration for the Free Speech Union was that I got cancelled myself in 2018. I won't bore you with all the details.
I'll go on. Just give me a thumbnail sketch.
Well, I was appointed to a new regulatory body in England called the Office for Students, which was which regulates higher education in England. I was one of 15 non-executive directors. It was a nothing burger job. We only met 4 times a year. It was unpaid. But because I'd been appointed by the then Prime Minister, Theresa May, and because my role was exaggerated by The Guardian, our most liberal national newspaper, I was described in The Guardian. I was described in The Guardian as Theresa May's new universities czar. So that was like a green light for the offence archaeologists to go to work.
And they looked on your Twitter account, did they?
They looked on my Twitter account. They looked at everything I'd written in The Spectator, where I'm an associate editor. Someone dredged up something I'd written in a book published in 1987. So they went back 31 years to try and find something to be offended by, so they could argue I wasn't a suitable person to serve on this august regulatory body. And because I'd been a provocative, controversial journalist my entire career, it didn't take them long. I mean, they found a Tutankhamun's tomb's worth of offensive material to dredge up. And after a week of being assailed with this various content, I resigned from the Office for Students and apologised.
This sounds very similar to my experience as a member of what was New Zealand's Broadcasting Standards Authority, where a left-wing group started a petition just saying they didn't like me. And I resigned at my first board meeting of the BSA, much to the delight.
How did that work out for you? Because my resigning from the Office for Students after holding the job for like 8 days didn't work out well for me. I had to step down. I thought that would make the mob go away. They'd have got.
I've been cancelled twice since then, Toby. I now run my own media company called The Platform, which champions free speech and seems to have a growing and loyal audience.
Well, that's great. I had to step down from 4 other positions.
Wow.
So lost 5 in total. Over the course of the 3 months or so in which my career was essentially burning to the ground, I lost a stone. So there was a silver lining. I called it the public humiliation diet. I don't know if you had the same experience.
Oh, God, if only.
But like you,
if only.
I started my own media company as well. I have a media company called The Daily Skeptic, a news publishing site, but I also set up the Free Speech Union because when it was happening to me, when I was in the eye of this Twitter storm and my career was on fire in a bad way, I really wanted an organization I could turn to for good, impartial, professional advice. Should I apologize? Will that make things better or worse? Should I get out there on the airwaves and defend myself, or should I lie doggo in the hope that the less said, the soonest mended? And so the Free Speech Union is the organization that can provide people themselves in a similar situation with that kind of good professional.
Yeah, and I think it's a brilliant place to pitch the organisation, champions of free speech and the individual's right to exercise free speech. Look, it's so interesting talking to you, and particularly in your personal journey, Toby. Is there a danger that the free speech movement, or if you like, the anti-woke movement, and I'm going to use broad populist terms for this because it's what people understand, and I struggle with this personally, am I involved in some sort of revenge crusade? And I really don't want to be. I just want to do what I did prior to my first cancellation in 2018. I just want to be a journalist and call the world as I see it and live in a tolerant world where good ideas rise to the surface through reasoned public debate. But at times one can feel very personally bitter about the cancellation and the lies and to be honest, the absolute viciousness of the woke left. Well,
we describe the Free Speech Union in the UK as a non-partisan organisation. When I first set it up, people tried to characterize it as a right-wing organization, which was only going to defend old heterosexual white men saying inflammatory and offensive things in the public square, and that there was no need for such an organization because actually we needed fewer of those sorts of people in public life, not more. That was the kind of criticism. It was just, and that there was no free speech crisis. It was just a few embittered old men complaining that they didn't have the same loud hailer that they once had. But we were able to disabuse people of that impression quite quickly because almost immediately the people seeking out our help were gender-critical feminists, left-wing women of a certain age who found themselves being cancelled because they didn't want to use the preferred gender pronouns.
This is fascinating, Toby. My interview prior to you was a woman called Ro Edge, who runs an outfit called Save Women's Sports Australasia, who was saying she gets no media coverage for the fact that she says this government has backtracked on preventing men competing against women in sports in New Zealand.